It's the first Monday of the month, and welcome to AMN Academy, where we give you free lessons on various examinations that are needed for you to work in the United States of America. Every first and third Monday of the month, it's the turn of 9.09er English to talk about English exams like IELTS, and we feature passers from time to time. Every second and fourth Monday of the month, it's the turn of NCLEX Review Center partners of AMN to give you free lessons on next generation NCLEX. But it's the first Monday of the month. That is why we are going to feature a success story of an IELTS passer. So if you know anyone planning to go to the United States of America and would like free review and free English examination, look no further because AMN Healthcare International offers sponsorship. If you want to jumpstart your application to the United States of America, all you have to do is to visit the website of AMN, or you may also send them a message on Facebook. And what's the process? Of course, you have to pass your NCLEX first. After passing the NCLEX, that's when you move to your English examination. So if you are on a tight budget, well, be one of the scholars of AMN Healthcare International. All you have to do is to send them a message because if you're qualified, you're not going to spend a single centavo for your English review and English examination. So our featured passer for tonight is actually one of those endorsed to 9.09er English. Let us hear her story because, like you, she also started as an IELTS examinee. She prepared for the exam and she was able to get the required band scores. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Miss Dianne. Good evening, Miss Dianne.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Can you hear me,
So
sir? Is it fine?
yes, we can hear you. Let me just go to the talking points. So for our live viewers, if you have questions for Miss Dianne over here, just use the comment section. Let us know if you're interested to know particular strategies that Miss Dianne employed when she took the examination that helped her get the required band scores. So let's make this casual. We have not prepared any PowerPoint presentation for you guys because it is more of a talk show. So we would like to encourage our live attendees to tag as many friends as they can, especially for those who have plans of taking English exams like the IELTS in the future. So without further ado, let's begin this 30-minute Facebook Live session by asking the following talking points. So let's begin with the question, why did you prepare for the IELTS knowing that it's accepted as an international English examination? Instead of reviewing on your own via YouTube, why did you decide to get a preparation course for IELTS?
Sir Irvin, first of all, I believe that IELTS is a high stakes exam. So I didn't want to take a risk, or I didn't really want to fall short in terms of preparation. So I decided to enroll at 9.09 or English because I know that they have the expertise to guide and to help test takers. I wanted to review or prepare for the test in as much I didn't have much time to review for the exam, so I did want to maximize my chances, and I think that 9.09 or English coaches and lecturers have the capability to help me. And of course, I wanted to make sure that I have all the skills, the strategies to take the exam. So that was the reason why I joined the review sessions. And of course, I was not very much familiar with what to do. And doing it on my own, I think, would be much more challenging. So that's the main reason. I really wanted help from people who have the skills and knowledge of the test.
Thank you so much for that, Miss Diane. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard that yes, there might be free resources available, but what's good with AMN Healthcare International, the review is free. So you are sent over to 9.09er English, and this is the best part: daily one-on-one coaching. Well, YouTube is helpful, we know that. But the problem with YouTube, you cannot talk to the vloggers, you cannot talk to the YouTubers to ask questions. With 9.09ers daily one-on-one coaching, you get instant feedback from experts who have taken and passed the examination. Now, let's move on to the four subtests. Well, there's listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And speaking is the most important subtest if you'd like to work in the United States as a registered nurse, because here you need to get a grade of 7 and the overall band score is 6.5. So even with a 6 in listening, reading, and writing and a 7 in speaking, this is enough for you to go to the United States of America. So Miss Diane, of the four subtests, listening, reading, writing, and speaking, let's talk about the easiest. Which one did you find the easiest?
I wouldn't really say it's the easiest, but perhaps I was more prepared when I took this test. I believe that I spent much time on this. So when I did the speaking test, I thought that I was well equipped with skills and strategies. That's why I thought that it's not the easiest, but I think I improved a lot in that particular subtest. I'd say that in terms of the nature of the questions, speaking is supposed to be the easiest. Although there are other features, for example, of course, pronunciation, we need to consider vocabularies and grammar. I had some troubles with fluency, but all of this I was able to handle well because of the preparation I did with 9.09 or English. I think that the best thing I was able to do before the exam was I was immersed on doing the test. One-on-one coaching sessions for speaking specifically helped me, guided me to answer different kinds of questions. And the coaches actually helped me with the different types of questions. I was able to actually do the test based on the guidelines, the flow. Everything that I did was all based on the lectures and the coaching sessions. So again, I wouldn't say it's the easiest, but I improved a lot in that part because of one-on-one coaching. And as for the nature of the questions, I was able to predict. I mean, during the lectures and the coaching sessions, they give us a lot of drills and different kinds of questions. So at least I had clear idea, clear picture of what part one questions would be, or what part two questions would be like, or part three questions. That is why I was able to at least anticipate what I needed to do, how to answer. And so I'd say that I was not 100% ready, but I was able to adjust a lot in the speaking test.
Thank you so much for your insight, Miss Diane. So you see, guys, this is the funny part because when people hear IELTS, they're afraid of the speaking subtest. But if you keep on practicing the speaking subtest, you devote time for this subtest. Like you attend the lectures, you go for one-on-one coaching. Miss Diane is actually right. We have lectures that tackle different topics, different types of questions in the speaking subtest. And here's a bonus. We also provide sample responses to the different types of questions. That's why in the actual examination, you won't be shocked. You won't be surprised because probably the questions that the examiner is going to ask you in the actual examination are questions that our lecturers and coaches have already discussed in class and one-on-one coaching. And the more you consider this an examination, the more you feel suffocated. That's why Don't think of the speaking examination as a formal interview. Just imagine that you're having a conversation with your best friend. So the more casual it is, the better it is. Now, let's move on to the next question. If Miss Diane considers speaking to be the easiest subtest, which one for you? Which one for you did you consider to be the most challenging to prepare for? Miss Diane, are you still with us? Which subtest do you consider to be the most challenging to prepare for? Let me check. Miss Diane might be lost. Let me message her first.
Hello,
Well,
sir. Can you still
yeah,
hear me? I'm
yeah,
not sure if you
yeah.
can hear
Hence
me,
their
but I
signal
heard
number.
your question.
Yeah,
You were asking about the
their
most
signal number
challenging
three in the Philippines right
um,
now. So internet
subtest.
connection is relatively intermittent whenever there's a strong typhoon in the Philippines. Go ahead, Miss Diane. Pardon us for the technical error. Truth of the matter is there is signal number four in the Visayas, and there are a lot of areas in southern Luzon and northern Mindanao with signal number three. So this is usually the problem in the Philippines. If there is a typhoon, most of the time internet connection is also unstable. Well, third world problems. That's why you understand why so many Filipinos would like to pass their English examinations and move to first world countries like the United States of America, where they don't have any problems with internet connection whenever there are unfortunate weather conditions here in the Philippines. Now, let's see, maybe she's going to join us in a few minutes. Yes, she'll be back. Okay, so while we are waiting for Miss Diane to go back, I I was asking her which subtest she considered to be the most challenging of them all. But if we're just going to look at the statistics, okay, a lot of people usually get the lowest grade in the writing subtest. So take it from me, take it from the horse's mouth. We recommend our candidates to go for daily one-on-one coaching. Now, how often is our one-on-one coaching session? It's available 24/7. That's as early as 12 midnight to as late as 12 midnight round the clock. And how does this work? Well, we have three shifts. There's the morning shift, afternoon shift, and the graveyard shift. So our coaches are working around the clock to make sure that we are able to accommodate candidates, reviewees who are based in Asia, Middle East, Africa, the Caribbean. No problem because we have more than enough coaches to accommodate every candidate worldwide. So a case in point,
Sorry.
usually we have 30 coaches doing the one-on-one every day, and in a day we have up to 100 nurses availing the one-on-one coaching program. So I guess we have Miss Diane back, so I'll just repeat the question. Which subtest did you consider to be the most challenging when you were preparing for the IELTS?
Sorry, sir. Okay. Going back to the question, I'd say that it's actually reading and a bit of writing because the problem with these two subtests is that both are under time pressure. So it means that I have to do the tasks within a certain time, 1 hour for reading, 1 hour for writing. And um, knowing that I am timed makes me feel more nervous. I feel that I cannot concentrate so much because of that. But of course, because of constant practice, I was able to overcome fully. I was able to overcome my challenges, the challenges, my weaknesses. But I'd say that reading was difficult because of the nature of the texts. Of course, these are random, and I don't normally read this much. That's why it was something new to me. Writing, on the other hand, was difficult in the sense that I have to do it as fast as I should. and I chose a pen and paper exam. I think that I had a hard time with my handwriting. Although I was able to still do it, I was still able to finish my task within the time. I think those were the reasons why I think that reading and writing were difficult. At the same time, writing was difficult for me to prepare for because whenever I attempt to do the writing test, I mean, whenever I practice, I tend to doze off or yeah, the level of concentration is not enough for me to practice a lot. That is why I had the difficulty doing it. But thankfully, I was able to finish both during the test.
Thank you, Miss Diane. So she considered writing and reading to be the more challenging subtests of the IELTS. But fret not, if you're going to the United States, you don't need a specific grade for reading and writing. As long as you get 7 in speaking and 6.5 overall band score, you are good to go. Now, someone asked, well, earlier I've mentioned a 6 in listening, 6 in reading, and 6 in writing are enough. But what if someone gets 5.5 in writing? Can you still go to the United States and work as a nurse with a 5.5 in writing? Kindly use the comment section, answer yes or no. Guys, there's just a slight delay between StreamYard and Facebook. That's why we'll be giving our live viewers enough time to answer the question yes or no. Let me repeat it. If someone gets 5.5 in writing, can you still go to the United States and work as a registered nurse? Well, you're already 50% correct because you only have two options, yes and no. So here's the verdict. Even with a 5.5 in writing, you can still go to the United States and work as a nurse as long as your speaking is 7 and your overall band is 6.5. So if you get 5.5 in writing, fine. As long as you get, say, for instance, 6.5 in reading, that should do the trick. These subtests are going to help each other in getting 6.5 overall band. Now, Miss Diane considered speaking to be the easiest for her and then reading and writing more challenging. But wait a minute. Which strategies or which tips taught by 9.09er did Miss Diane consider to be effective and helped her to pass the IELTS?
For writing, sure. For writing, I think the best tip that I got from one-on-one coaching is that I should definitely not start writing unless I understood what I'm going to write about. That is specifically in part two, writing task two. Because there are some instances when we write without really understanding the topic. It is because we are in a rush. We want to maximize the time. We want to do it as fast as we can. But from the coaching sessions, I've learned that it is not the best. It is not what we should do. We should always try to balance time for brainstorming, writing, and of course, there should always be editing. These three stages in writing are crucial because if one of them is missed, it could be it could ruin everything. Like there are some people. At first, I would rush to writing the task right away, but um, I actually realized that it will give me more, cause me more mistakes. I would commit more mistakes if I do that because I didn't really plan or think about my direction in writing. I just spontaneously started, and then when I get to the middle of my writing, I realized that I missed something or I missed a point. But then when I did brainstorming, writing, and editing, I realized that I had to edit less than what I used to because I already got the point from the very beginning. So I guess it's the very important tip that I got from one-on-one coaching as for writing. And then for reading, I think that I should not spend too much time on each number. I mean, if I got lost or I cannot really find the answer for that specific number, then I can skip and go to the next number instead of spending so much time on one number only. And I can also do guessing if needed. That's the last resort, of course. If I really cannot find the answer, then I should not never leave anything blank. At least I should guess so that I'd have a slim chance to get the answer, the correct answer, instead of just leaving it blank. So those are some of the tips that I got and I applied when I did the test, and I think that they were effective because I was still able to answer well. I think that most people think that focusing so much on writing, focusing so much on answering questions, those are very important. But of course, we need to make sure that we do everything within the time limit because we are under time pressure if we focus so much on one number or if we focus so much on writing without brainstorming, then everything may go down the drain. So those are the things that I applied during the test.
I'm so happy that you were able to get the required band scores in reading and writing despite the fact that you considered both of them to be challenging. So this is really what's good with one-on-one coaching sessions. When you get instant feedback, the coach is going to tell, you know what, try this one or this one might be more effective than what you're actually doing. And in the end, these strategies helped Miss Diane to pass the examination. Now, let's move on to the next question. Apparently, there are 6 English examinations accepted by CGFNS for visa screen purposes. There's IELTS, PTE, OET, MET, TOEFL, and TOEIC. But let me ask Miss Diane right here. How come you chose IELTS over the other English examinations?
Hello, sir. Sorry. I think I got lost. Well, sorry, can you please go back to the question,
Sure,
sir? I think
no
there's something
problem.
wrong with my connection. I'm sorry.
It must be the typhoon. So, well, stay safe wherever you are. Now, why did you choose IELTS over the other English exams?
Okay, so IELTS is definitely a widely accepted exam. I'd say that this was my choice because I know that whatever happens, IELTS will not leave me hanging. I mean, um, if I change my course or my plans, or uh, if I decide to go somewhere else, or I decide to retake another, take another path, then IELTS will always be accepted. I mean, this is like a universal English proof of English proficiency. So that is the main reason why I chose IELTS. Aside from the fact that I believe in its integrity, I think that IELTS is one of the most recognized, if not the tops to this particular when it comes to English language proficiency. So it's all because of its standard and of course the convenience it gives to its test takers. I was able to take the exam in the test center that I wanted. I was able to choose the date, the time. Yeah, the date that I preferred because I think IELTS is very much, it is available in many parts of the country. I chose IELTS because I had the opportunity to choose between pen and paper exam and computer delivered exam. And this is definitely not the case for all the other English exams, like PTE or OET. I think that's possible, but definitely IELTS was my first choice because of advantages that I saw. That's why I chose it.
Thank you for that, Miss Diane. Now let's move on to the second to the last question. Will you please tell us your actual examination experience? Sometimes it's different when you have heard the story from the grapevine as compared to living the actual experience. So please tell us more about what happened on the day of your examination.
Sir Ervin is lost.
Yeah, go ahead. What happened on the day of your examination? Please tell us more about your
I
actual
hope
exam experience. Pardon us, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes weather really interferes with what's happening here in the Philippines. So this is a typical problem whenever we have a typhoon. And looking at the alphabet, it's letter T. So this means to say it's, I think, around the 20th typhoon in the Philippines for this year. So we usually have up to 26 typhoons in 1 year. Please pray for the people, especially in the Visayas, South Luzon, and Northern Mindanao, especially where areas where signal number 3 or signal number 4 is up. So let's talk about the actual examination experience. Like, I, for one, also took the IELTS. I arrived at the examination venue before 8 a.m. because 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is usually for registration. And then 9 a.m. to 12 noon for the written exams. Listening always comes first. That's around 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., followed by reading from 10 to 11, and then writing from 11 to 12. Then there's lunch break. After lunch, that's typically when you're going to have the speaking subtest. So let's ask Miss Diane if that's also her experience when she took the examination. So Miss Diane, welcome back. Please tell us more about what happened on the day of your exam.
Sir, during the day of my exam, of course, just like what was expected, we started with listening, reading, writing, and then in the afternoon, I did speaking. During the test, thankfully, there was no technical difficulties or problems that we encountered. I did the pen and paper exam, and so the listening test was I actually did the pen and paper exam, and so the listening test was through played through uh, an audio. We didn't use headsets. Yeah, so a speaker. I mean, they used a speaker, and definitely it was seamless. Everything was clear, and I think that was very helpful for the examiners to feel confident that they would be able to answer well. Because if there was any technical problem, then that could cause maybe panic or worry among the test takers. So um, fortunately, nothing happened. Nothing like that happened. And then in the reading test, I don't remember anything really really different about the test. As expected, everything went well. Writing was also not a problem. When I did the speaking test in the afternoon, we had to wait, and I was able to meet some other candidates. Of course, it was nerve-wracking, so uh, we had to find ways on how we can at least calm our nerves down. So we had to, yeah, like we had a small talk, but I think that it helps when you warm up a bit by talking with other people. Maybe if you have someone with you in the outside the examination room. During that time, we were allowed to speak to some other people. But as soon as I got to the examination room, on the table, I saw the laptop. I saw a piece of paper, a pen, and that's it. So there was a bit of instructions, and then after the instructions were given, the invigilator went out of the room, and it was just me and the examiner on video call. So everything went well. I didn't have any problems with the audio except for today. But yeah, that's what happened. It was I think within the standards of a testing center.
Thank you for sharing your actual examination experience, and we are happy to hear that it was seamless, straight from Miss Diane's mouth. Now, we have a question here, which actually leads us to the last question. So, let me first read the question here of one of our live viewers. Good evening. I am aiming for band 8 in speaking and listening, and then 7 in reading and writing. Is this possible, or how can I work towards it? Well, the reason why I read that question is because it's also in relation to the next question I'm about to ask Miss Diane, which is, what words of advice can you share to fellow examinees? So, in your case, Miss Diane, you were able to get stellar marks in the examination, with 7.5 being your lowest grade in any subtest. So, my question is, what are your suggestions or recommendations to our live viewer who is aiming for an 8 in 2 subtests and 7 in 2 subtests?
Okay, for everyone aiming for certain scores as high as 8, or 7, basically what you really need to do is to invest. You need to invest in time, because that is what you will need to be able to prepare for the test. What I mean is that you don't rush. Everything does not happen overnight or in 5 days. This is not magic. English proficiency requires a lot of effort, a lot of practice, but I think that the best thing you can do is to do one-on-one coaching sessions with a real coach, not YouTube, not an application, because real people would know how to assess your weaknesses and strengths. They can make sure that they tailor everything depending on your needs. And what I mean by time is that you should not um, you should not take for granted every chance that you get to speak in English, or to write, or to read, or to listen. Joining the mock exams also helps because it builds your endurance in answering all the questions in, I mean, all the subtests in one sitting. If you do that like separately, I don't think it would be effective, because in the real exam, they don't do it separately. You have to do it as if you're taking the real exam. You have to listen, read, and write all in one sitting as if you're doing the real test, because if you don't do that, then you wouldn't even know if you can really finish every task given to you, that will be given to you in the test. So join the mock exams, simulate the real exam by joining one-on-one coaching sessions in speaking, and of course, write. It is not enough to just watch YouTube videos or to listen to people talking about writing. The real deal is doing it and knowing if you can do it within the time limit. So if you are aiming for an 8, I don't think that is a problem if you will prepare. Um, as long as you know your direction and you would exert effort for that, then I would say that it's not impossible. So basically, preparation is the key, and that's the reason why 9.09er English is the best um, is the best organization that can help you, because they cater to, or they specialize in coaching students so that they can get their target scores.
Here's my key takeaway from what Miss Diane mentioned. Progress does not happen overnight because improvement takes time. If you're going to ask for the experience of our reviewees, most of our passers allotted 1 to 2 months of preparation. And if you'd like to know the average number of one-on-one coaching sessions of our nurses going to the United States who made it in IELTS, it's 14 coaching sessions. So kindly check how many one-on-one coaching sessions have you had. If you had 7, then perhaps invest more time and add 7 more so that you'll be considered that average person preparing for English exams going to the United States. And just like that, we have reached the end of our Facebook Live session. We would like to thank Miss Dianne for being so generous with the information that she has shared tonight. Hopefully, her story is going to inspire and motivate future IELTS passers to also to also devote time and eventually wing their IELTS examination. In 2 weeks' time, don't forget that we're going to have a lecture. Sir Brian and I are still deciding who among the two of us are going to conduct the lecture 2 Mondays from now. And if you're looking for free lessons on NCLEX, don't forget that's every second and fourth Monday of the month. And we have another show every Friday that's Onwards and Upwards show. So ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you're going to maximize the live sessions of AMN Healthcare International because we have one objective here, and that is to help you pass the different examinations and for you to have a better life in the United States of America. Once again, we are 9.09er English on behalf of AMN Healthcare International. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.